Humans on the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. If I could marry this video, I would. I love this video. I love the idea of this being true, but we'll find out later on. Today we're talking more leaks. This is the final video of this little mini-series. The leaks that I've heard about so far. If more come out, we can talk about those down the line, but for right now, these are the main leaks that I've heard that have any sort of real respectability to them. Again, retracing these leaks is so hard. We have no idea if these are actually true or not, so we're taking it with that lens. We're taking everything with a grain of salt, and we're just having fun talking about if these leaks are in fact real, how cool would they be, how hype would they be, and go from there. So yeah, yesterday we talked about Malice and Ryzeal support, stuff that we kind of already expected to kind of be in Alliance Insight. But prior to that, kind of random stuff, and now we talk about some somewhat random stuff. We're actually talking about the tactical tri-decks. These are the three archetypes that got their own, like, almost ready-to-go structure decks in the OCG, which is really cool. And when that happened, I kind of raised my eyebrow, and I said, does that mean we're going to get more support for those archetypes? Because those are cool archetypes. It was Eldlich, CYDRA, and Live Twins, and that's what we're talking about today. So let's get into the leaks here. Let's obviously start with the first one here at the top. This is CYDRA main deck monster. Let me move my fat head somewhere else. Maybe we just need to make my fat head a little bit less fat. There we go. That's probably good. All right, so here we go. CYDRA main deck monster. No name on it. First effect, if your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can special summon one level 5 CYDRA monster from your deck. Second effect, you can return one level 5 CYDRA monster you control to the hand. I wonder if that includes this card, or if it says other. Then you can add a polymerization or fusion spell from your deck or graveyard to your hand. It notes here at the end, alternatively, the second effect could be a spell card that has a fusion summoning effect, but maybe doesn't specifically say fusion in the name. But they don't know at this point. Again, early translations, these leaks are a little bit wonky because they're originally taken in a different language, and sometimes even translated more than once to even get it into English. So it's kind of hard to take these at face value entirely. But listen, seems like a good card. I love CYDRA. This is probably my favorite anime deck of all time. I love how flexible this deck has felt. If I wanted to nitpick this card at all, it's basically that it doesn't really do much going first, and I've liked CYDRA because it's felt so flexible. It's been a trap deck before, it's been a hard-going second deck before, it's been a combo deck before, it's been a mid-range deck before. Like, it's had so many different iterations. This card feels like it forces you to go second if you want to play this card, but if you do, this is a really good card. It helps the archetype make CYDRA Infinity in Engine, which is a really big gripe that I've had over the years, is like, you made a cool Exceed monster for your deck, and like your own archetype can't even facilitate it. You have to go through Galaxy Soldier to do it, which is cringe and kind of minus. So I'd rather have a card like this. So I like it. I think it's a cool card. It also potentially makes Overload Fusion playable again, maybe even Branded Fusion as a package in the deck, which you can search out here. Like, there's some cool things you can take advantage of with this card. Yeah, I like it. I hope it's not the only CYDRA stuff that's planned for like 2025. I'm already on the record saying that I thought CYDRA were going to get a structure deck next year. I thought they were next in line after Blue Eyes to get a structure deck. If this is like main deck support, or not main deck, core support, like Alliance Insight, does that mean it's less likely that we get a structure deck later in 2025? Like, probably makes it less likely. It doesn't kill it entirely as a possibility, but just something to keep in mind. Does this affect the possibility of CYDRA actually getting a structure deck, or even other cards later in 2025? I don't know, but it's something to note. But it's a really cool card. I hope it's not the only card, and we'll see. Next up, we move to Kill Link Monster and a main deck monster. Well, let's, you can go to that if you want, but we'll start with the Link Monster here. Crazy. It's a Link 1. It's Kill specifically for the Live Twin archetype. One thing before we even jump into the effects that's very important to note at this card, they do not note anything about what materials this card requires. My guess would be, because it's a Kill Link and the way that Live Twins generally work, is that this card probably requires a Kill specifically. So in the past, we've considered Lilla to be the better normal summon of the two, but actually with this card, if this card's real, the Kissy Kill normal summon probably becomes the better one. It's like we'll talk about it in a sec, but when we get through the second card, but it basically allows Kissy Kill herself to like beat a hand trap as a 1-card combo, which is out of this world crazy. But anyway, all right, a Light Fiend Link 1. It's also a Light Fiend for freaking Fiendsmith. Okay. You can send 1 Lilla monster from your deck to the graveyard. It doesn't say whether this is a trigger on summon or an ignition effect during main phase or anything, but yeah, sends a Lilla monster from deck to grave. That actually is nice because I believe the Lilla or the Kissy Kill Link 2 only needs 1 Kissy Kill monster, and the other monster can be anything. So being able to like use generic extenders to potentially just still get into the Kissy Kill Link 2 and then revive the Lily you just foolished off of this and then just keep going, it's actually pretty good. So that's cool, but we also get a target below. The new monster is a Lilla monster. That makes this effect even better. Second effect, if your opponent activated a card or effect in response to your monster effect, you can draw 1 card. Again, this is another one where I don't know exactly how this works. I don't know if this is an effect on field or if this is an effect in grave. It's significantly better if it's an effect in grave because this is not a card we're trying to end on for our end board. But putting it in grave means potentially putting like Kissy Kill Frost and this card in grave turn 1 could get you 2 draws over the course of like at least your opponent's turn, which is really cool, really strong. Yeah, like that, really good card. Like, honestly, it's really, really good. It's going to allow the deck to play through interaction. It also makes the deck low-key a little bit more consistent than before, too. Because if Kissy Kill getting negated and then going into this and still having the ability to make Trouble Sunny through 1 in a hand trap is something you can do, it also makes Frost a 1-card line into Trouble Sunny. So it also makes a little bit more consistency for the deck as well. All right, and then we get to the Lilla main deck monster. Level 2. So still having some good sprite synergy as well, something to note. While this card is face up in the monster zone, you can special summon, or you cannot special summon except Fiend Link monsters. No problem there, because it's only in the monster zone, so you just link this off and then go from there. Second effect, if you control a Kissy Kill monster and this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. I like that it banishes itself when it leaves the field, so it's not too crazy of a recursion tool, but yeah, this card's really, really good. It's pretty simple. Like, I don't really need to explain too much about this card, but I think the key to this card is this. If you normal summon the Kissy Kill normal summon, the one that like summons a Lilla from deck, and it gets Veilered, Impermed, Impulsed, Ashed, one of those 4, those are 4 of the most popular hand traps in the game right now competitively, and she gets negated, you can make this Link 1, use the Link 1 to dump Lilla, this Lilla, she reborns herself because you control a Kissy Kill. You can go into the Lilla Link 2. She banishes herself, so she's kind of out of the equation now. You can use the Lilla Link 2 to reborn the Kissy Kill Link 1. Link those 2 into the Kissy Kill Link 2. Reborn the Lilla Link 2. Potentially pop a monster if you want on the field. And then from there, you can either choose to make Trouble Sunny or Kissy Kill the Link 2 is a Light Fiend monster. So you can just immediately go into Fiendsmith combo from that point forward. So, and that is 1-card combo versus 1 hand trap. And you literally beat the 1 hand trap. Like, it's actually bonkers that it does that. Now, to be fair, Live Twins is also like historically one of those decks that's just pretty low ceiling. So I think like if a deck like this being able to do this, and it also locks you into Fiends, which Fiendsmith makes that crazy. But other than Fiendsmith, you know, that's a pretty tough lock. You're locking yourself out of a lot of other things generically. But like still, like you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where I'm like, that's crazy. But the deck's also low ceiling enough where your end board being just Trouble Sunny or like maybe the Little Link 2 plus a Fiendsmith. Desire, like, you know, like that's fine, but it's, you know, it is really strong through 1 hand trap. So, yeah, I think the deck's cool. I think this makes the deck really, really maybe crazy, but we'll see. Not like broken, but like a legit threat competitively if these cards are real. And the last thing to mention is Eldlich. Eldlich is the 3rd tactical tri-deck. As you can see, I have no leaks for it. It is stated that like the leakers said Eldlich should be included with new support, and that made sense. And I guess the one thing I want to talk about here real quick with Eldlich is just that we kind of already been hinting at Eldlich support low-key And even if the new Eldlich card itself is not out of this world, you have to keep in mind 3 pretty big things, I think. The first one's Sillihat Rabbit, which is a very generic Link 2 that searches the Eldlich trap monsters, which is really, really nice. So you have a way to get those in rotation generically through any random generic package you want to play. We saw in the past decks play like Hauki Flybrax with the Eldlich stuff just to have a more offensive push. While Eldlich could be the backbone, and so this just helps you get to the Eldlich engine and all that stuff. Next up, Delta of Temptation. This is a card revealed in Supreme Darkness. This card basically just gets Eldlich in rotation. I don't know for sure if it's a guaranteed play in the deck. Maybe if you're playing a zombie variant of the deck, and depending on if we get an actual new main deck Eldlich monster, this card could become even better, but until we see that, I still think it's a really interesting card. And then lastly, Maze of the Master. So we have confirmation that Odeon's getting a new archetype here for his Egyptian and trap monster themed cards. We don't know yet. Odeon's theme could be pretty like consolidated to like its own archetype, or they could be kind of generic trap monster support cards. We'll have to see where they go, but I think that's a really big like unknown entity so far, and there's a world where this is 10 cards. Odeon's getting 10 cards in his archetype, so there's a world where like Eldlich gets a whole nother like awesome like deck to like synergize with, but we'll have to wait and see on how those synergies actually work out. So there should be an actual Eldlich card on top of this if these leaks are real. Of course, we do not know that for sure, but you know, it's one of those things. But very, very cool nonetheless. Yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. If you're a Cyber Dragon fan, let me know what you think of that Cyber Dragon card. If you're a Live Twin fan, let me know what you think of those 2 cards. Those 2 cards seem crazy. And if you're an Eldlich fan, let me know what you want. What would you want the most out of a new support card? I'm curious to see what you guys would think there. But I'm out of here for today. I really hope these are real, because I actually am like somewhat a fan of all 3 of these. I'm a big fan of Cyber Dragon, and I'm like a medium fan of both the other 2, but if they get really good support and play in a cool way that I like going forward, I might become bigger fans of them. So like I'm open to the idea. And so that's kind of where we're at this point. So I hope they're real. I wonder what you guys think as well. Throw it in the comment section down below. You know, we'll see if any of these actually end up being real or not. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll keep you posted with any other new interesting leaks that kind of come to the surface, as well as just Yu-Gi-Oh! News as it comes out. But I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Peace.